What if I told you that in a culture completely obsessed with massive stadium-sized megachurches, nearly 60% of people actively choose congregations with fewer than 100 members?
Yeah, it really is a surprising statistic, isn't it?
It is. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking Doc Murphy's book, Small Church, Large Church. And our mission today is to, challenge that deeply ingrained assumption that bigger is always better.
Right. We really need to redefine what actual success and growth look like in these communities.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. We often assume healthy organizations must constantly grow in sheer numbers. But Murphy argues that's a total fallacy.
It is a fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mostly because we treat living communities like industrial factories, like more square footage automatically equals more success.
Right, like an assembly line.
Yeah. But in nature, size is just a terrible indicator of health. Every living thing reaches an optimal point where it thrives best.
He uses some great imagery for this in the text, actually. Like, a healthy grape at its absolute peak is never going to grow into a watermelon.
No, it is just burst.
Right. And if you injure your knee, it swells up. It gets much bigger. But that growth certainly isn't healthy. I was thinking it's kind of like judging a highly rated local artisan coffee shop by whether it can physically expand the square footage of a Walmart.
Oh, that's a great analogy. What's fascinating here is that optimal size concept.
Yeah.
Small isn't a failure to launch. It's the natural norm.
Which explains that 60% statistic you mentioned earlier.
Right. It makes perfect sense when you look at it that way. Small is where people naturally gather.
But, if small is optimal, why is there this immense pressure to build these massive megachurches in the first place?
Well, because our culture firmly equates size with divine blessing and ultimate success. We just want the visual proof of winning.
We want to see the packed auditorium.
Exactly. But Murphy points out a fundamental math problem that proves this goal is totally unsustainable. Take Branson, Missouri, for example.
Oh, yeah, the Branson example.
Right, so it's a town of about 10,000 people, but there are over 100 churches in the area. The math literally does not allow every single one of those congregations to become a megachurch.
The people just aren't there.
No, they aren't.
So, since accumulating massive crowds isn't mathematically sustainable, how do we actually measure growth? Here's where it gets really interesting. Murphy flips this problem with a classic math riddle.
The penny riddle.
Yeah. Would you rather take $10,000 a day for 30 days or a single penny that doubles every day? How does he apply this to organizational strategy?
So the $10,000 a day represents accumulation, adding large chunks to one central location.
Right.
But the doubling penny represents multiplication, which Murphy calls the Jesus model. Think of it as elephants versus bunnies.
Okay, bunnies and elephants.
Yeah, building a single massive entity is like an elephant. It's impressive, but it takes 18 months to reproduce. Bunnies, on the other hand, are small, but they multiply rapidly and constantly.
Wait, I have to push back here a little bit. Sure, bunnies multiply fast, but an elephant has massive power. Doesn't a megachurch have the budget to do vastly more good, run better programs, and just have a bigger impact than 50 tiny churches?
It definitely looks that way on the surface. But when you build an elephant, you require enormous upkeep and you completely centralize power.
I see.
Yeah. With bunnies, you are constantly empowering new individual leaders right there on the ground. 30 days of doubling that penny leaves you with over $10 million, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the long game, rapid empowerment beats massive centralization every time.
Okay, but if genuine expansion is about multiplying these small bunnies, how did these massive organizational elephants get so big to begin with?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we see a phenomenon called transfer growth.
Transfer growth.
Right. These massive organizations aren't necessarily reaching new people. They are largely just recycling existing ones.
So just shuffling the deck, basically.
Exactly. Just shuffling people around. They attract a crowd with shiny new buildings or a trendy band, but the mechanism itself is flawed.
Because they aren't actually creating new growth.
Right. When you rely on spectacle to grow, you aren't creating deeply rooted disciples. You're really just creating religious consumers.
And I mean, consumers will leave the second a different church down the street gets a better band or a cooler coffee shop.
Precisely. That's why Murphy draws a hard line between transfer growth and true kingdom growth.
Kingdom growth meaning what exactly?
Meaning actually bringing completely new people into the faith and creating genuine community transformation. Big numbers often just mask a total lack of true growth.
So what does this all mean? It means having a massive crowd doesn't guarantee you're actually fulfilling your mission.
No, not at
You
all.
might just be managing a very full, very passive waiting room.
Exactly. Whether it's a church, a startup, or even a community initiative, success is really about empowering the people within it, not just hoarding attendance figures.
As you go about your week, I really want you to mull this over. If you apply this multiplication over accumulation mindset to your own life,
Oh, that's a great point.
yeah, like your career network or your friendships, are you exhausting yourself trying to build a massive passive audience? Or should you be cultivating a few highly engaged connections that will naturally multiply your impact? Think about it.